I read the book Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. I would recommend this book to anyone who's interested in law or social justice. The author's writing style is very personal and powerful, and it would probably be for like 10th graders and up to read. One of the primary arguments in the book is that the justice system is unfair, and like no matter the way you look, it should be fair for everybody. Something that drew me in as a reader was just the story altogether. So Bryan Stevenson is a Harvard law student who he represented people on death row who were innocent but couldn't afford a lawyer or any legal representation. So he founded a nonprofit that represented these people for no cost. One of the main people in the book that he represented was Walter McMillian. He was arrested for the murder of Rhonda Morrison, who was an 18-year-old girl, even though he was innocent. Something that also really frustrated me throughout the book was that even though there were many things that pointed to Walter being innocent and not the murderer, the court system every single time just decided that there wasn't enough evidence against it, and the police in the town had one person testify against him, saying that they saw him there even though he didn't and he wasn't even there. In the book, Mr. Meyer was the one who testified against Walter, saying that he saw him there. And on page 135 in the book, he says, "I lied. Everything I said at McMillian's trial was a lie. I've lost sleep and I've been in a lot of pain over this. I can't be quiet any longer." From the book, I've learned that no matter who you are or where you come from, everyone deserves respect and deserves a fair chance. Bryan Stevenson has published other books with other authors, but his best-selling book is Just Mercy, and I have not read any of the other books that he published. How Stevenson has his book set up is by chapters, but every other chapter it flips back and forth between Walter's case and the other people he represents throughout the book as well. Some of Bryan Stevenson's background is that he was born on November 14th, 1959 in Milton, Delaware, and he attended Harvard Law School and became a lawyer. Bryan also had two siblings, an older brother, Howard Jr., and a sister named Christy, along with his parents, Howard and Alice Stevenson. In the book, Bryan uses a lot of pathos because he really connects with his clients on a personal basis and uses emotion. I think he also uses logos because a lot of the testimonies that he finds when he's going back through the case, he rereads them, and like the witnesses' like testimonies, they just don't make any logical sense, which helps him realize that somebody's lying somewhere in the case. I think what makes this book unique is that Bryan spent his career running a nonprofit organization to help convicts or inmates on death row fight to be free at no cost, because he knows that sometimes people just can't afford it. And I also think that it's unique because he went to Harvard for a law degree, and then the way he went with it. Like, he could have gone to a firm and been making all this money to represent the same types of people, but instead he decided to help out people who can't afford it and who are innocent. I do think I'd read another book by him. He has a very unique story, like I said, with the way that he went with his law degree when he could have went a completely different way with it. Throughout the book, I was very frustrated with how the court acted towards his case. Everybody just assumed that he was automatically guilty because of a false testimony that was given, and they had to take it to the Alabama Supreme Court in order to get a retrial for him. And that was after they presented the evidence of the witness being a false statement and all these other things that prove that he didn't do it, and there's no way he could have, but they still denied a retrial, so they had to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. Other things that frustrated me throughout the book was that people lied in their testimonies just to benefit themselves and get themselves out of trouble, when they almost costed somebody their life because they just wanted to get out of their own trouble. I was also very happy at the end of the book when all the charges were dropped and Walter was freed and was able to go back with his family. Bryan Stevenson wrote this book to provide historical context and to reflect on the American criminal justice and prison systems. And I think by him writing this book, it brought a lot of things that people didn't realize to their attention, like how unfair it really was. And then the book Just Mercy is also a New York Times bestseller. It won the 2015 Andrew Carnegie Medal for Excellence in Nonfiction.